Time to get back into the series. Torah is the Bible is Torah. And we're going to show by example, by one of the disciples in the New Testament, that the Torah is still there, still being followed, and that Messiah had not done away with it. And we're going to see that from the story of Paul's conversion on the road to Damascus, and the disciple that he used, the Almighty used in the conversion of Paul. And so we know him as Ananias. And in Acts 9, verse 10, it says, "And there was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias, and to him Yahweh in a vision called out to him, 'Ananias.' He said, 'Behold, I am here, Adonai, the Master.' He said, Yahweh unto him, 'Arise and go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judas for one called Saul of Tarsus, for behold, he prayeth, and has seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming in and putting his hand on him, that he might receive his sight.'" And then we go to Acts 22, verse 13. Or starting in verse 12, Paul's giving his testimony in Acts 22. "And one Ananias," he says, Paul, in his testimony, "a devout man according to the Torah." So one of Messiah's disciples, a son of the Most High, Yahweh, Ananias, the man used in his conversion, Paul says of him, "Ananias, a devout man according to the Torah." It takes one to know one, right? You read your Testament over again, you'll see how Torah observant Paul really was and how he taught and upheld the Torah. But this is mainly for Ananias to show you another example of disciples keeping and walking in the Torah after Messiah's ascension. So let's start over. Acts 22:12, "And one Ananias, a devout man according to the Torah, having a good report of all the Jews which dwelt there, came unto me, stood and said unto me, Brother Saul, receive thy sight. And at the same hour I looked upon him, and he said, Oh, the Yah, Elohim of our fathers, has chosen thee, that thou shouldest know his will, and see that just one, and shouldest hear the voice of his mouth. For thou shalt be a witness unto all men of what thou hast seen and heard." Hallelujah. And so we see that Paul, the man used to help him in his conversion and to receive his sight, was Ananias, who was a devout man of the Torah, who even the unbelieving Jews had no qualm with him because he was in his Torah observance. And so you see how the Torah is still, after Messiah is gone, being observed, performed, and taught. And it is the narrow way. You think you're in a narrow way now? Why don't you pick up that Torah, learn of it, walk in it, do it? You see how much narrow it actually is. And it is the straight way, the way that we are upright before him in righteousness, in his righteousness, not according to our righteousness, not according to our thoughts and thinking, but unto him in his ways. In his way, it is straight. It is narrow. Just as Paul was told to go to the street called straight, now we all are called to go to that street called straight, to the narrow way, to receive that true vision. For we all need that eye salve to put on our eyes and to come to the true realization of the whole truth of His Word, and that is that His Torah is still for every believer, and it was and will be for every believer throughout the ages. Messiah said so in Matthew chapter 7. And so, just as Paul received his sight, may we all receive our sight, coming in to that road, that street called straight, into the true narrow way, as we see the examples of Paul, of Ananias. The word said was a true and devout man according to the Torah, and was respected even of all the Jews. Hallelujah.